Hello and welcome to Landscape Photography World. I'm Grant Swinburne and I'll be your host on this show discussing the world of landscape photography. This time I'll be talking to Kal Tenakoon of Dreamtime Pictures about his landscape photography journey. Kal is a Sydney-based artist and is known for his magnificent waterfall and mountain-scapes as well as dramatic seascapes. His work shows a true sense of adventure and his posts reflect his deep respect for the environment in which he works. Kal talks about some of his adventures and his love of getting out into nature. I hope you enjoy the show. Hi Kal, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's another cloudy day in lockdown. So.
In lockdown in Sydney.
Yeah, in Sydney.
Yeah.
But making the best of it, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the podcast is just to have something to do when I'm not shooting, because I can't go and shoot anywhere at the moment. I've probably said this in just about every episode so far, but it's the reality of life at the moment. So I've just got to make the best of it. So how are you going with lockdown? How are you coping?
I just take it as another opportunity to reflect on the things that matters most to me.
Yep.
And I take some time do some post processing of some of the shots I've taken early in the year and last year. And I keep myself busy with some exercising. I think everyone in the world went through this last year, but we were very fortunate we didn't have to go through last year. So finally
we had it pretty easy last year, but we're confident this year. So.
So it's unfortunate, but it's what it is. So
it's just the way things are. Yeah. So when was the last time you got out to shoot, and where did you go?
My last trip was to mid-north coast in New South Wales, just before the closure. So I spent a few days in there. For me, it's not only about photography. When I go to a location, I like to talk to people.
Sure.
Taste some local produce, and so it comes as a package. It's my way of exploring. So I had a quality time on the coast and also in the country. And I came back with one of my career highlights shots, which is the Waterfalls on the Milky Way. So I was pretty happy with that trip.
Yeah, very nice. I remember seeing that shot. That was fabulous.
It was something else.
How long were you out at the falls setting that shot up?
So I was started. I started shooting half an hour before sun goes down, so I could take some light from the valley because it's such a deep valley.
Yeah, it gets pretty dark down the bottom at night.
It is, so there's there's no light. So if I wait too long, it's probably very dark photo. So I try to take some of the light whilst there, and then another half an hour since the Milky Way started rising. So it's an hour, but there's absolutely no reception or any sound. So it's very surreal experience.
It's a beautiful spot. I've been up to Ellenborough Falls. For those that don't know, that's up in the hinterland, up behind Port Macquarie and Wauchope. And it's a beautiful part of the world, and the falls are a real highlight if you can get up there. And there's not too many places you can go to get a shot of it without going off the trail. If you really want to get down to the bottom, there is a way down, but it's pretty rough.
It is. It's pretty spectacular waterfall, and it's amazing experience.
Yeah, cool. So how did you get started in photography, particularly landscape photography? What's your earliest memory of getting into it?
I listened to your podcast, your first podcast, and I learned a lot about you. So compared to your photography career and your achievements, I'm just like a toddler. So,
I'm just very old. That's all.
So thanks again for having me on the show, and thanks for the invitation. It's it's a wonderful opportunity. So my photography journey is relatively new. I bought my first point and shoot Sony camera in 2017, just before a trip to the Gold Coast.
Yep.
So those were my early years in Australia. So I was just going to Gold Coast with a mate, just happy days. And then, I had this point and shoot camera. I was in the Karambin beach taking a photo of a surfer.
Yep.
Then a wave decided to just crash in, and then so there's sea water in the camera. That's the first shot. So it wasn't. So I still took my shot, but the camera was full of seawater, so I had to rush into the JB Hi-Fi to get it fixed. And so it wasn't the perfect start, but I think I think it made me who I am today, taking some risk, obviously, to take the most amazing photos. If you keep your camera in the closet, then you're not going to take any photos. So you need to be out there, take some risk. And
your camera's not going to take shots on its own in the bag. So. I see it as very much a tool, and I mean my cameras take a bit of a beating, but that's one of the things that insurance is for, and for it does cost a bit to repair occasionally, but it's a tool. You got to get it out, you got to get it and use it in the conditions that you're in, and you're not going to get spectacular shots, I don't think, if you're sort of standing well back and not. I mean, it's not about taking risks so much, but it's getting into spots where the normal photographer might just sort of stand back and not get as close to the water or get as close to the subject as some might.
So I've seen some of the behind the scene videos from most amazing people, most amazing photographers. So they are waist deep in water, or so you have to go that greater length to get that amazing photos. It's not going to come to you just on a platter. So
no, that's it. Yeah, I mean, there's a few places that you can go and take the iconic shot, like around Sydney and so forth. But there's other
which
places
are pretty safe.
but there's other places where you do have to get off the beaten track a little bit. Otherwise, you're just going to you're either not going to see anything special, or you're just not going to see anything.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've noticed with your work is the emphasis that you have on the environment, and how important is that to you?
I think that's the most important thing. Ever since I could go out on my own as probably a teenager, I always ventured to nature and explored things, and then spend hours and hours exploring and finding things. So it wasn't anything new for me. So photography is just another dimension, just another way of appreciating the environment or the nature, which I always used to do.
And for the listeners, how would you describe your style? What would you describe it as?
So when someone looking at my photo, I want them to feel that they are in the location. So which means I try to add the full emotion from the scene into the photo. So it's probably combination of things, but I try to add a lot of elements from the scene, some background, some foreground, and some middle ground, leading lines, your framing, and also the light. So it's combination of things, but I just want, if someone looking at my photo, for them to feel, okay, I'm standing right in the right under this waterfall in the Blue Mountains or something like that. So it's about adding that emotion. I think without an emotion, a photo is just very flat.
Absolutely.
Flat thing.
So what does your shooting process look like? So when you get out of the car or wherever it is that you're going, what are you doing? What are you looking for?
So I was very fortunate to go out and shoot with some of most talented photographers in New South Wales, or if not for Australia. But so I observed them what they're doing. So when they go to a location, they scan the location first for good few minutes before getting into actual shooting. So it's the way of observing everything and think about what you can incorporate into your shot and how to make a real story. So that's what I actually follow. So I look at, if it's a sunrise, I probably go there half an hour, 40 minutes before. And then I learned it very hard way, just rushing into place and taking photos that I don't like anymore.
Nothing worse than turning up late for a sunrise.
No. And then you have to just settle for something that you probably don't like when you come back and have a look at the LCD screen. So so it's always scanning and then work through your compositions and that's
what's your sort of favorite composition that you put together out of your shots? Which one do you think's your favorite, or are they all your babies?
That's a pretty hard one. I think if a composition has a leading line that's drawing your eye to the subject, those are my favorite shots. So if you had a chance to see the post today from the Blue Mountains, so I take that shot and there was a leading line from the form that's leading your eye straight into the waterfall. So that's something I really like.
I like that shot a lot because of that, leading line that brings you up to the bottom of the falls, and then then you just follow it through all the way up to the top. It's beautifully done.
Thank you.
So when you've got your shots home, what are you doing when you're processing? What you minimal processing? Do you get right into it, or do you leave it and think about it and leave it for a little while, or leave it, forget about it, and think about it later?
Usually I don't rush into processing unless I'm working for a commercial client or I work for someone and I had a deadline to deliver something. I usually wait till I forget the scene, and then my mind is fresh, and then I start processing. Post-processing is it's a downtime, so I can't do that when I'm very stressful. So I have to find very productive time to do that in a very clear mind. So I do not rush into editing anymore.
No, I can't say I blame you. Sometimes I feel like I do. You get excited. You've nailed the shot or something. And you got to get it. You got to get it out. You got to have a look at it. You got to play with
it.
But I mean, I try quite a bit now to not do that, and I try to leave it for at least a day or two before I start. Really. I mean, I'll have a quick scan, say, yep, they look good. They're, run through the folder that I create when I copy off the camera onto the computer. And then I just sort of try and work out, all right, well, they're the ones that I think they're the hero images. They're the ones that I'll work on. And then, shut it off, go and do something else for a while, and come back to it in a day or two. And I think I've found that I've got a lot more, and in particular now with lockdown, having to go back into the archives and look for shots that I might have missed, because I do tend to pick and choose. I might get 2 or 3 shots out of a shoot that I'm really, really happy with. But then I might leave a whole bunch of what I initially consider secondaries, but then I've, been looking back now with lockdown with fresh eyes, because I can't go out and shoot anything new. So I've got to look at those, and because I haven't got anything else. So, you know, and I really don't like repeating my shots too much. You know, there's a couple of compositions that I've repeated, but they're definitely different edits.
Different edits, yeah.
And so,
I remember
you know,
this. Yeah.
And I think, you know, just doing different editing styles as well. You know, I mean, I've been playing around a little bit with things like star trails and whatever off some of Milky Way shots, and my shot.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, the shot that I posted today was just a bit of playing around with a shot that I took of Tokyo a few years back, and just using the same sort of techniques to come up with something that's just a bit different. But I think I agree with you. You've really got to sometimes just let the thing sit and ferment for a little bit, and ferment in your own mind, you know.
Yep. But I think sometimes it's also if you go to spectacular sunrise or something, and then if you post a story into your social media, and there's a certain expectation from
you're setting an expectation
from the crowd.
That,
So people probably think, oh, what's this guy doing? It's been 24 hours now. Where's the shot? Where's the post? So
he's teasing us.
It's always find that balance.
Yeah, no, I know the feeling. Yeah. Whereabouts do you most like to shoot? Do you have a favourite spot?
I think that's a pretty easy one to answer. I would say that's the Blue Mountains National Park.
Yeah.
It's full of photography opportunities. There's mountains, waterfalls, canyons, and
there's just so many
flora and fauna. Yeah,
so many different things you can take advantage of down there. Or up there. Yeah. No,
the other day I read somewhere it's bigger than Hong Kong and Singapore combined. So it's mind blowing how big that place is.
Yeah, just one national park. Yeah, and it's, I mean, it particularly if you do get down there and get off the beaten track. I was actually having a look at some videos today of some people canyoning. I was also looking at a video. I think it was Len Metcalf, who's been around the landscape photography world for quite some years, probably longer than me. But I mean, he was one of the first sort of to get into some of the slot canyons in the Blue Mountains with a camera, and he describes in that video where he's, gone into these canyons for a 3-day trek with, some friends, carrying an old steel. This was when he was about 20. Carrying an old steel tripod and his medium format camera in a dry bag, and gear in dry boxes and whatever, so that they could take it through some of these canyons, and just started opening up the world's eyes to some of the beauties up there, and I think that's the important thing up there in particular. There's just so many different locations that you can shoot.
There's so many,
and if you're willing to take your time, get out there, even better if you can spend time out there in camp. It's much more comfortable in a hotel somewhere, but then you got to get to where you're going to shout. So you can't shoot Echo Point all the time.
That's what I first thought when I first came here, and when I googled Blue Mountains, it's just the Echo Point coming up, but then I realized how big that place is, and there's so much that I haven't seen, like the slot canyons you said. So that's the plan, that's the goal.
So have you explored the northern side of the Gross Valley over there, like Pierce's Pass and what's the name? Mount Wilson, that area?
A little bit, I've been to that side for some autumn shoots, but not enough.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I honestly, I mean, I probably shouldn't be saying this because everybody will go and shoot it now, but I think it's definitely underexposed photography wise. It is a little bit harder to get to some of the places over there because you've either got to go for a bit of a walk or you can't just sort of drive up like you can at Echo Point. But,
you probably have a 4-wheel drive or something, and
with some of the locations, you've kind of got to take your time and get out of the car and go for a walk, and could be an hour, could be a 2-hour, 3-hour walk, just to get to the spot where you want to be. And I don't know if you've been up around the Nunes Plateau and Glen Davis and those sorts of locations yet, but there's some spectacular scenery up there too around the Walgan Valley.
No, I definitely haven't been that far. So
Bell's Line of Road, and then there's a road that you can turn right off there at Zigzag, and there are parts where 4-wheel drive's recommended, but there are others that you can. I drive a Mini, and I've and it's not the Countryman or anything. It's just the little Mini Cooper, and I've been able to get to where I want to go in most cases, without too much drama.
I think it's probably better than your full sedan because it's a much shorter wheelbase.
Yeah, shorter wheelbase. Yeah. It gets a bit tricky going over bumps, though. It's not very high off the ground. So.
But, there's a lot to explore. So I know what I'm busy next few years at least.
Yeah. So are they your what's your plan after lockdown? Are you where's the first spot on your list?
I would really love to go somewhere on the coast and do a seascape, which I haven't done for so many weeks now. So
that's top of my list as well as get my feet wet.
Yeah, definitely. I live close to 3 national parks, and all 3 of them are within 10-kilometer radius for me. So I'm not missing much on the nature because I go there every evening or every weekend and still see some animals and some nature flora. Yeah, but the only thing I'm missing is the ocean. So that's where I'm probably going.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. That's top of my list as well. Yeah. So how far would you say you travel each year, with your photography? I've seen quite a lot of the Blue Mountains, but I've seen you up the coast. I've seen you down the coast. How far each year do you think you travel just for photography?
So that's a good good question. I just complete 1 year with my car, and then that's 15,000 kilometers I have done. And it's probably mostly for photography because from where I live to work, it's not a big commute, and then sometimes I do catch public transport. So Australia is such a big country, so if you take a trip to south coast somewhere like Bermagui, and the round trip's probably 3,000, 4,000 kilometers easily. We do some detours, so it's very easy to go on that kilometer number.
Yeah, definitely. So what you mentioned, taking a risk or two. Have you had any misadventures when you're out shooting? Any problems, or incidents or near misses? There's definitely a lot of near misses, starting from my first day with the camera. Getting it wet first off.
I think I had to leave the camera overnight in air conditioned room or something to get it start working again. So I do have a full frame Sony Alpha 7 Mark III camera now, which can handle a little bit of moisture and splash, which is a good news. So it can take a bit of a beating. In terms of near misses, I remember just a couple of months ago, I was in Macquarie Pass National Park.
Yep.
And then I was near a waterfall and just walking on the rock platform, and there was a big hole which I couldn't see, and I was with my bag and everything, and all of a sudden I couldn't even imagine what's going on. I straight away
disappeared down a hole.
Yeah, with the camera and everything, not in a waterproof bag. So that's the first thing came into mind. So luckily I could came out, and then there's nothing happened to the camera, but those are the near misses.
Yeah, I've been through a few bags of rice with my camera.
Yeah, but impressingly, the new cameras can have a little bit. The
weatherproofing.
Unless you keep it under water for a few hours.
apart from Matt Barry and his Olympus, where he's washing it under a shower.
Washing it, I've seen that.
So what bit of kit can't you live without?
So I got this Sony G Master 16-35. So that's my go-to lens, and I do also have telephoto lens 70-200 Sony.
And they're the go-tos.
Yeah, the go-to one is definitely the 16-35, my wide angle lens. So that's 95% of the time. But if you want to shoot a bird or kangaroo or something, then switch to the telephoto one.
Yeah, got to get in nice and close. Yeah. So for you, what tips would you have for someone just starting out in landscape photography?
I think it's your patience. So you're not going to get that perfect photo in your first day. Actually, I met a guy yesterday when I was working in the national park. He was with a digital camera, and he's taking a photo, and he looked very disturbed. So I talked to him, what's going on, and he said he's new with the camera, and he's taking a photo. That's the sunset, but the sky is blown out.
Yep.
So I talked through it, how to get rid of that. But that's probably how people feel first when you start photography. You feel disappointed. You can't. You see something.
They look at your shots internet. And they go, "How do I do that?"
You expect something much higher when you look at the internet, and when you're going to take, you can't do that. So it's patience, and it's you need a lot of patience with photography, I would say. If you're taking portraits or something, it's probably not bad, but landscape, you need a lot of patience, and it's learning curve.
Time. And of course, everybody that isn't a photographer says, "Oh, what camera have you got, and what camera should I buy?" And I always say, well, what the other one is, what's the best camera? I always say the one that you've got with you. Whether it's your phone, whether it's a happy snapper, whether it, the camera you have with you when you see something worth taking a shot of is the best camera, because if you think about the composition and you think about how the how to present the image, why you're taking the image in the first place is a big thing too. What is it about what you're looking at makes you want to take a photo of it? I mean, it's pretty obvious when people take photos of their kids or their dog or their cat or whatever. They want a memory, but and I know some of it is just getting that memory, but people think it's all about the camera, but it's actually all about how you use it and what you do with it, not what what the gear is itself. The gear can help.
But I think the most mobile phones these days can take amazing photos. So that's what I thought before getting a camera. I thought, okay, so these phones take amazing photos. Why do I even need a camera? But when you going through your journey, you come to a point, okay, you can't push it anymore with your mobile phone. So that's when you probably need to think, okay, well, what are the options in the market? I think all the brands, like all the leading brands, Sony, Canon, Nikon, they're all doing great jobs. So it doesn't matter.
I totally agree. I don't think there's, image quality wise, I don't think there's much difference. And you can take a spectacular image on a crop sensor. You can take a fantastic image on a medium, right? The difference, medium format, for example, but the difference there is how big you can blow it up. You can stand in exactly the same place at exactly the same time with two different cameras, come out with the same result on a screen or on a small print, but what you're going to find is that you get to physical limits where the detail just isn't there in those smaller sensors, and that's really the only reason why you'd start to move up into full frame and medium. For me, is if you're really going to blow the image up and make it a big print,
Big print, yeah. So for me, it's I had the crop sensor camera until a year ago. So this is the first year with the full frame, and sometimes people don't believe that I took those shots or those images with my crop sensor. No one believes. So people say, "Oh, don't you use something else." So I think it's just a perfect job. There's photographers out there, they take amazing photos with the crop sensor. So
absolutely,
yeah.
I mean, even with the phone, I mean, the phones are bumping up against physics because your sensor is going to be smaller. It has to be small enough to fit inside the case of the phone. So and the lens, etc. They do a lot of great work with the software that
to make it up for the small sensor.
To make up.
I noticed the latest ones, they actually got built-in noise reduction in the mobile phone. So it is amazing.
But it all comes down to the detail that you want in your image, and so it depends on what you're looking at your images on. Are you looking at them on a phone? You're looking at them on a tablet, on a large computer display, or you're looking at them, on a wall in a 2 meter wide print. If you're looking at a 2 meter wide print, you want as much detail. Well, it depends on the shot, but so I mean, if you're looking at a fog, you want some detail, but you want a lot less detail than if you're looking at waterfall pictures. But,
I think even for larger prints, I think you can still get away with the crop sensor because with my crop sensor shot, the people asking for large prints like 2 meter prints, and then when you print it, it looks just absolutely fine. So I think if you look at a bigger digital screen, then only you can see some noise. But
viewing distance makes a big difference too. So if you've put a 2 meter print in a small room where you're only 3 feet away from it, looking at the detail, you better have some detail in there. But if it's in a big hall where people can stand 10 feet away, it makes a much bigger difference in terms of that viewing distance. Because I mean, it depends on what you're going to do. Do you print much of your work, or?
Only by request. So when someone see one of my shots, especially if that's a local shot for them, local place for or local landmark for them, they ask for prints. So then only I print. But I want to get into a habit of printing more, and then
I started printing my stuff a while ago. I mean, a long while ago with the film stuff, but that was only a very small format. I never really played around to blow them up. But with digital anyway, I did that fairly recently, and I mean, I've blown quite a few up, and I'm absolutely loving the acrylic sort of format, the acrylic mount. where you've
actually,
the guys I get mine done through, they print on a metallic paper and then bond that to the acrylic. And it just makes the whole thing pop, makes it look a little bit like it's on a screen. You got to be a bit careful with the lighting because you do get a bit of reflection off it, obviously, because it's a very high gloss finish. But when you print some of those up, 1.5, 2 meters long, they just look outstanding. I love them.
Yes. And I think also there's a bit of demand, upcoming demand for metal and glass prints now. So I've had few people asking some prints on metal or glass. So I think those are coming up as well.
Yeah. So have you ever hit a creative wall where you've been, just wondering what to shoot next?
Not so far. Yes, there's so many things in my mind lined up for to shoot whenever I have opportunity. So it's probably other way around. So I'm probably very time poor with my real work and then other commitments. So
not getting out to shoot enough. Yeah.
I think probably after a few years I probably come to that stage. But it's still my early years in Australia, so there's a lot to explore. So I have probably been to some of the states at all. So it's a big place to explore.
Yeah, there's a lot to get out and see, and I do sometimes get I can't take another shot of the Opera House, but then it's not that hard to go, all right, well, I'll go to the beach or go to the mountains and, shoot a waterfall, or I'll go down to Macquarie Pass like you did, and shoot a waterfall down there or something, So there's, for me, it's kind of the same. There's way too much to shoot, not enough time. And then, for me, I've been lucky enough to do a bit of overseas travel. So, that is always, I'm either planning, though at the moment can't really plan, but planning or setting up for going or coming back from an overseas trip. I try to get in at least one a year for the last few years, and managed to do a bit of Europe, go to Japan. A few years back, went over to Peru. That was an amazing experience. So for me, planning those sorts of things is a big part of my time spent. When I'm not shooting, is planning where I'm going to go next.
Yeah, for sure. So even with shooting, so for example, if you want to do the Milky Way, there's only certain days in a year. So there's probably maximum.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
10 days in a year. So it's a very tight time frame for certain shots. But
what's your planning process like before you say an astro shoot or something that you're going to get a Milky Way shot? What are you looking at, and what are you planning? What tools do you use?
I use the apps like Photofills and Clear Sky to and also there's a chart which I can't remember now, but there's a chart to say which days in the year you can have the best exposure of the Milky Way.
Yep.
The closest to the Earth. So I do use those regular apps. I think the most important app is probably the clock to get up.
The alarm clock.
The alarm, that's probably the most important app. But I do use those apps. But if I do Milky Way in somewhere I've never been before, I probably go the day earlier or when there's daylight and use the apps and do the planning and come back when it's dark or close to dark.
Yep.
So that way I'm safe and I know what to expect, and I'm familiar with the landscape a little bit more rather than going out at dark. Yeah,
I'm much the same. Unless it's a place that I've been a few times, I tend to not not go out and just on the spur of a moment go somewhere new and shoot the Milky Way. It's I mean, yeah, it can be an adventure, but there's some adventures that I don't want to have. Yeah.
No, at least there's not a lot of vicious animals in Australia. There's no tigers, so
no, you don't have to worry about tigers, but
or lions. But we do have snakes, so at least not in winter.
Snakes and spiders. Walking down a track and walking into a spider's web is the thing I don't like. It's not It's not so much the web, which is unpleasant because it sticks to your face and whatever, but it's where's the spider? Did he go down the back? Is he on the face, or is he on the hat?
I remember I did. I went to Karangarra Boyd National Park. I did the walk in the early morning before the sunrise, and I was full of spider webs even before I get to the spot. So
I don't like walking into the sticky stuff.
Yeah. That's probably why you need to carry a stick and then clear the way before.
So you said you arrived in Australia. When was that?
I came here in 2014.
Okay. And
I was in Sri Lanka before that. That's where I grew up, and I came here.
Okay. There's no tigers in Sri Lanka, though, are there? Or are there?
There are tigers in Sri Lanka. Yeah, there's tigers and there's crocodiles, alligators. There's everything that can kill you in the jungle. Nice. So it's very different ball game here.
Yeah. So you weren't really into photography back then?
Not much with the digital camera, but I was taking photos from my mobile phone. But I was always out and about before photography. So
nice.
I know what to expect.
I mean, it's one of the international destinations on my list. There's some spectacular scenery around there, but I think I definitely need a guide now. I know there's tigers there, so someone with a gun.
Yeah, there's tigers and there's wild boars and there's all sorts of wildlife.
You get wild boars in Australia. So if you go out on the Western Plains and some of the swamps out west as well, you can. There's actually quite a big boar hunting community in New South Wales and Victoria in particular that they go out. They even export wild boar meat overseas. So.
Oh wow! Okay, so that's something. That's amazing. Yeah.
So we've got those. Don't have crocodiles down here. Luckily, they're all up north.
No. Yeah, the scariest thing I came across probably a dingo. So that's all right.
Yeah. Have you been to Fraser Island?
No, I haven't been. No.
Okay.
There's a lot of dingoes there. Apparently.
Yeah, a lot of dingoes there, and they, because there's a lot of people who camp there, etc. They warn people, and they have had a few attacks up there, but I think they're a little bit different to a tiger. I think a tiger will probably take you out a lot quicker than a dingo.
Yeah, you probably can scare off a dingo if you group of people, I think. Definitely.
Yeah. So what do you do when you're not out shooting?
Do you count post-processing as one of the things?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I do a lot of that.
Yeah. But I also like to exercise. I do cycling a little bit. I've taken it more serious last few weeks with the lockdown and also the last lockdown. So I do a bit of cycling and do cooking, catching up with friends and family. That's off the card for now, but that's also something really important for me.
Yeah, definitely.
When in the normal days.
Yeah.
Documentaries, Netflix, a lot of things going on. Olympics.
Been looking for new stuff to watch. You got any recommendations on Netflix?
Recommendations, not particularly, but yeah, there's sort of great stuff.
I've been into YouTube quite a bit. Funnily enough, mostly landscape photography vloggers, and people like Gavin Hardcastle and Thomas Heaton and Neil Page and so forth. Been watching a lot of those recently because starting to run out of stuff on the TV to watch, and you can only watch so many Olympic events.
On the day, there's a lot of great videos, YouTube videos, even for beginners. I think if you watch them, and especially with what to do with your camera, and also what to do with your computer when you post processing. So there's a lot of great stuff.
Definitely,
I didn't even know how to do my camera settings when I first bought the camera. So YouTube is your place to go, and then there's a lot of people.
I call it YouTube University. You can
it is a university.
Yeah, you can learn anything on YouTube.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I've got one more question, and for me, it's definitely the most important one. Pineapple on pizza.
Yes. Definitely. Yeah, 2 thumbs up. Pineapple on pizza, in your burger, in your salad, in your barbecue, anywhere. Yeah, it's most most important ingredient. Yeah. It is such amazing.
I'm with you on that. I like it.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Kal, and learning a bit more about you and how you do what you do. It's been fantastic to hear from you. Where can people find? Where can people find your work?
So at the moment, it's mostly Instagram. My Instagram handle is Dreamtime Pictures. So that's where I post. And I want to get into other social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter and stuff. But at the moment, it's mainly Instagram.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Okay. All right. Well, thanks again.
Thanks for having me. Like I said before, I'm just a baby compared to a lot of other great photographers out there. So thanks.
You're a very talented photographer, mate. That's why I'm talking to you.
That's a great thing.
It's one of the things I'm not that bothered about. How many followers someone has or not. What I'm really interested in is talking to people whose photography impresses me, and yours certainly does. So, from that perspective, don't ever put yourself down as being a baby just because you haven't been doing it as long as some people. I mean, I don't think I got any good at landscape photography for many years. It took me a long time, and I just get amazed at some of the particularly. I mean, I saw. I forget his name, but I saw a kid on Twitter, and I call him a kid because he actually said that he was 14 years old, and his stuff is phenomenal. I've literally not seen anyone that young, that talented with both camera and post-processing. But I guess this is the generation that's grown up with it, so they're used to seeing it, and they've got YouTube U to go to and learn from. So
I think they pick the mobile phone when they are 2 or 3. So so by 14 they probably have 10 years worth of experience with the digital.
And they know all the Instagram filters to use, and
Oh yeah. I think if you try to bother much on Instagram, that's probably a big distraction. I think if you want followers, you can buy followers. So
and that's something I just. It's funny. I keep getting, particularly recently, almost every post, particularly about the podcast. I'll promote it. DM us to promote your podcast, or DM us to promote your photography. So, yeah, but you just want me to give you some money to give me fake followers. Why would I do that?
Yeah. So that's another advice. When someone asks, how do I grow? So I say, if there's 10 real people actually like and commenting on a photo, that's probably worth than 250 bots or like fake accounts that interacting. So it's always come to that real interaction from real people.
Yeah, and that's it. If you're sincere in what you're saying about someone's photography, and I think an important thing that's helped me grow, and I'm not saying I've got a massive following by any stretch of the imagination, but what's helped me grow is starting to interact with the community, and for me, promoting others' work has actually helped me find connections with other people that you then follow, and it's so for me, it's definitely about sharing and promoting other people rather than promoting yourself, and that I think personally that promotes you better than just I can't stand follow for follow, or can you please take a look at my gallery and follow me. Well, if you ask, I never ask, and I never will. But there's just want attention. I think everyone wants attention. We all like attention.
Yeah, we all like follows and like, but I think what you said is important. I really like your feature Friday. So I come across some of most great work of people, and then that's one way of finding really good photographers and go into their profiles and see what other work they have, and then
it's one of the reasons why I do it is to not help them per se, but to show other people where to find good photography. And for me, if I can help somebody else out, that's great, and if they can help me at another time, great. But it's not, I don't ask for it, and I don't care, This podcast is really the first time where I've actually asked anybody for anything, and I've got to say the response has been absolutely fantastic from people like yourself. So far, I've recorded now 9.
Oh wow! Okay. So right, I didn't realize. I was really busy.
I haven't released them all. I wasn't sure if anyone was going to say yes first, because I didn't know. But I've had a fantastic response, and I've got probably about another 10 people lined up after this. So so what I'm doing is really just sort of banking some up now that I can then release. I was initially going to release every 2 weeks, but I'm thinking I could probably do it weekly now. If I'm pretty confident that I can find someone to talk to at least once a week, and if and so far I've been doing 2 or 3 a week for the last two weeks. And it's been a great response. I'm really appreciative of everyone who has taken the time to come and talk to me, and very appreciative of everyone who listens. So I just hope people enjoy it.
And I think it's good to share your stories, so the challenges you had there, because if someone started new, they probably wouldn't know, or they don't think we had those challenges in early.
I wasn't born with a camera in my hand, so
so we had our ups and downs, and I must say there's really good people out there, especially in Instagram. The really good photographers, they help you. If you ask something how to do this technical advice, they're always
and
really good people.
I'm the same. If anyone asks me, I might make a tongue-in-cheek comment. Somebody asked me what camera I use to take a particular shot, so I said a Nokia 3110. And then I told them what I really use. But
yeah.
But it's like, it's a dumb question. Why are you asking what,
Yeah.
Ask me how I took the shot, how I processed it, what I thought about while I was standing there, taking the shot, or thinking about what I was doing. That to me, that's a much more interesting question, which is what this podcast is really about, is getting a little bit deeper under the skin of, instead of just looking at people's images and so forth, actually, talking a bit about them and, what makes you do what you do.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's a great initiative. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for organizing such a great thing.
My pleasure, and I thank everyone who comes on. And I think it's great that you take the time to share your knowledge and experience with other people as well. Because if we don't do that, then you don't really have a community. So for me, one of the reasons why I started it now, aside from being a little bit bored and not being able to shoot, is there's not many Australian podcasts out there. There's a few, and it's not about it being a competition or anything, but it's. I just thought there was a bit of a gap there, and I think I'll have a shot at filling it. I hope it's successful.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I definitely listened to the first couple of ones. They're really good. There's a lot of great information and especially inspiration, because this is a time we all lack a bit of inspiration, and especially with the things going around. So any good stories and your journeys really help people, really help the folks to get through this hard time. So it's an amazing job. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, and thanks again for coming on. Thanks everyone also for listening to Landscape Photography World. Hope you enjoyed the show, and keep listening, because I'll be joined by some great guests in upcoming episodes. You can find my work and this podcast on grantswinburnphotography.com. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. I'm Grant Swinburne. Hope to see you out shooting soon.